Hello once again. I wanted to do another video about your analysis of this movie or series or whatever that is called regarding Scandal. Pretty much, I can only everybody I don't know for some reason is getting all bent out of shape and everything about how this movie is actually portraying black women. And for the most part, for I really to tell you the truth, honestly, it's like it's an old issue, but it's like some even when we look at movies now these days, we actually look for things and really make them the subject of various videos and such like that. I mean, when you do stuff like that, I mean, it does make good commentary, but for the most part, you're saying the same message over and over again, which pretty much I think America has already gotten already. But just in case, I'll go ahead and just give a brief response to your video and pretty much how this movie, according to you, of course, portrays black women to be, I guess it portrays them in a negative light. For the most part, we already know pretty much the issue about, how the media portrays black women. I mean, my goodness, we see it on TV every day. We see it through commercials. We see it through, various movies. We see it, on, sitcoms and everything else, where it pretty much makes them out to be loud, obnoxious, too ghetto, and all this other type of stuff. Pretty much the common things that we have come to know that some black women are, because not all black women are like that. But my question is, for the most part, and I kind of want to switch it around a little bit about, how it's okay, I guess, for her to be portrayed as a side piece for the president, from what they're telling me how the storyline goes. And really, when it's actually, when they have other sitcoms and everything that portray women to actually, berate black men, where, they are sitting up there rolling their necks, snapping their fingers, this, that, and the other, giving the black man a hard time. But yet still at the same time, they're willing to put all of that aside, even though they're being used by the white man. And, I think I've pretty much chose an appropriate title for this, which is called Raising the Sisterhood Flag, or whatever the case may be. The reason why I actually chose that title is because you have a lot of black women, and like I say, I'm just going to be real about it because there's no need in faking the funk. But you have a lot of black women that will actually raise the sisterhood, where they will actually sit there and say that they will not be disrespected, they will not be treated unfairly, they will stand up for equal rights and everything like that when it comes to a black man. But when it comes to any other man that happens to be other, than black, they will lower that sisterhood and pretty much put themselves in a negative image to be used by other men who happens to not be black, just because of that fact that they're not black. And see, I think that is pretty much, a very hypocritical way to be. It really paints them in a negative light. It makes them a bit unstable. And like I say, I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about those that actually, allow themselves to be used like that. But, it irks me and it makes me very angry when you actually are seeing our women being portrayed like that, and yet still they don't have anything to say about it. It's like they're all in agreement with it. It's okay simply because he happens to be black. I mean, non-black. But yet still, when you have a black man who, who may, have been in a relationship with a black woman, the sisterhood flag is raised all the way to the point where they can't even get along. It's like everything has to be an argument, everything has to be a battle, everything has to be, like almost like a challenge just to get along with her. And like I say, I think that's really, an issue in our society as black folk. They'll raise the sisterhood flag for the black man, but they will lower it and allow themselves to be mistreated, misused, abused, almost to the point of actually losing their self-respect, just for the sake of actually saying that, I have somebody. I have somebody who happens not to be black. As if being black is some sort of a negative thing. Because remember, like I say, in the way I look at it, there's nothing wrong with being black. I love being black. If I had a chance to make it over again, I mean, I would not choose any other race to be but black. Because again, there are a lot of things that black folks have done and a lot of contributions that we have made to society that, white folks sometimes may want to take credit for. But one thing about it is that we keep going over this whole thing about, the black woman being the agent, so to speak, for the white man. And, according to the reviews and everything that I actually have, regarding this movie, and of course, from the views of it, you can't help but actually kind of lean over towards that side of thinking because of the way that the black woman is actually portrayed. One thing about it is that our women have been exploited, have been actually set out to actually be a clown, and actually, and pretty much been made to be the subject of many controversies. And for the most part, it's a shame that we black men are the main ones that are actually focusing on this particular topic, but it's also a double insult when the people that are actually being made to be a fool of don't even really have anything to say about it. And the minute that the black men actually bring this to the forefront and say something about it, then we're all of a sudden the bad person. It's like we're actually choosing issues and everything to go, to start an argument. Aside from what other folks say in their videos, because I cannot actually speak for what other folks saying in their videos, I'm only going to stick to what I got to say about mine, and like I say, and I'll keep it in that realm. But it's a shame when you actually have to sit there and argue with stupidity. Like I say, somebody makes a fool out of you. That's okay, as long as he's not black. Somebody uses you. That's okay, as long as he's not black. Somebody wants to sit there and make you out to be a whore, a slut. That's okay, because why? He's not black. And it's like, for the most part, that's the reason why, in my opinion, I think not all, again, because I always have to make sure I put that piece in there. That's the reason why you have a lot of black women that are the least desirable. That's just in my opinion. Because they are quick to actually be set out to actually be used to kind of, make it seem as if they're desirable. But all the white man is doing is affording to this film is exploiting her and letting her know that you are, whenever I want a piece, you need to be on call. And that's pretty much what it's all about, on-call booty. Because that's pretty much what, for the most part, some black women think that's what their greatest asset are, which is their body. And like I say, and when a black man sits up there and try to do the same thing, which I'm not saying is right, the sisterhood flag is raised where you don't sit there and disrespect a woman like that. Your mother was black. How would you treat her? And all this, I've heard it all. But yet still, when a white man does it, it's okay. You better not say anything about it. I mean, I don't understand the mind frame sometimes of, this type of thinking, because it's irrational, it doesn't make sense, and it's very hypocritical. But yet still, the black women, I'm pretty sure they're eating this film up. They love this film. They love, Scandal. Because it portrays them as actually being with a man who happens to not be black. Being sexually involved with someone of, high prestige, where they actually go out, and he's, getting him some from her. And in return, he may spend a few dollars on her or may buy her some things. But you got to understand, look at the overall meaning of what's going on. He's getting himself some from a black woman, but he doesn't even value enough to take you around his family. He doesn't even value enough to parade you around town, and he doesn't value enough. All you are to him is something that he can use to get off on whenever he feels like it. And then after he does that, he goes to the folks that he do respect, or the woman that he does respect, and show her the utmost respect, while at the same time treating you like gutter trash. But yet still, I think that this cycle can be broken once most black women, the ones who think like that, actually come away and really think about what really the message is being sent, what the message is, what Hollywood, what society is actually saying about how they feel about black women. And until they actually wake up and realize, this particular concept, you're going to have a lot of, irrational backwards thinking on the side of the black women. And like I'm pretty sure I've had like a lot of my share of, arguments with black women, regarding issues like this. And for the most part, I'm not going to sit there. I'm quick to say I'm not going to argue, because one thing about it is that why would you argue when the evidence is clear and it's in your face? And like I say, you can't argue with what society has portrayed you to be. Why? Because you've given that to them so long to now it's time to start to make money off of you. Anytime a sitcom or a movie or anything that is actually being in production, where it's actually getting ready to expose the truth about how most black women behave, the ones that are not educated, the ones who are just plain ignorant, they want to sit there and actually call the networks, write petitions, get signatures and everything else to get it shut down, because they already know that their truth is about to be exposed. It's not like America doesn't already know, but they're getting ready to put it on the forefront so you can, see you for how America sees you. But yet still, when you actually have something in production where it's actually giving you this fantasy or fairy tale life, excuse me, where your knight in shining armor, who happens to be anybody that is non-black, is coming around and being intimate with you, you know, and doing all these other type of things. But see, you got to understand one thing. Even though they're doing all this type of stuff, the white man already know not to go too far. He'll sit there and get everything he can, but he is not going to make any commitment. And that is really what angers me about why most black women cannot actually see this. Look past the, you know, the fact that this is a president and this is a woman that he has as a mistress or whatever, like I say, but you have to look at the fact that you're only good enough to actually sleep with. You're not good enough to actually to make a lifetime or a partnership with. That is the part that's really insulting, and I think that's the part that really stings. And I don't understand why most black women don't actually see this. I think, again, the mature women, the one that actually can think a little bit, I think they can maybe understand a bit where I'm coming from with this, but it's just the fact that they're so quick to raise the sisterhood and say what they won't put up with a black man, but yet still anybody else who is non-white, or non-black I should say, they'll lower it and actually be their yes woman. And like I say, it really, in a sense, it really makes most black men, it makes them mad, because why in the world do you think that we are, what, less valuable than the white man? I mean, because for some people, they really do think so. And like I say, they looking way in the future. This man slept with you maybe once or twice, and you're looking way past, you know, what's went on right now. You're looking in the future to see what could be. And this man is saying, this woman really think that I'm going to develop a relationship with her when all I got her for is just for something on the side when I want to get freaky. And of course, the black women, they are so happy and just smiling because they are really not really knowing how they're actually being portrayed and exploited. And it's a sad reality for most black women, you know, as far as what's going on and what's produced. And pretty much a lot of the things that are being produced is actually a slap in their face, because now America is just turning the mirror to let you see how we see you. It's okay to put on the, you know, stilettos and the diamond rings and the, you know, lipstick and everything else, and, you know, portray yourself to be happy and got it going on and balling. But at what price are you willing to do all of this? It's like you're willing to sell who you are, what, you know, your morals and everything else that you've been raised with, and trade it in just for the sake of saying that I actually been with a white man or somebody who happens to not be black. And then when they get tired of you, then they actually go and really tell you what they really think of you. And if they don't tell you, they will more than likely show you. And we see that every day on television. But I just wanted to kind of put my 2 cents in there and kind of give my brief opinion about it, and, you know, pretty much how everybody else is critiquing this program called Scandal. So that's all I have for now. Later.